Copy. The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Leg 2 of the Thursday Night Motorsport doubleheader for you, from open wheelers to tin tops, from circuit to street circuit, and of course from the United States of America to the Adelaide Parkland Street Circuit in South Australia. We're back on home soil for the first of 2 trips to Australian venues in the course of the final 3 weeks of the GSRC Porsche Cup for Term 2 of 2026, live, exclusive and free across Facebook and YouTube. It is terrific to have your company. Zach Capon now alongside Andrew Neil, who jumps in for the main course portion of our Thursday Night Motorsport doubleheader. Bit of a smaller than probably expected field tonight for the GSRC Porsche Cup Elite Split, but the return of Sam Muir is a sight for sore eyes. It's good news that one of the heavyweights, one of the hot shots of this series and one of the hot shots of the club in the past, where he made his mark predominantly in GT4, of course, is back in the house. There's the state of play in this championship fight with only 2 rounds to go once we're done here. So the state of play is that we've got 2 races next week on the streets of St. Pete. So back-to-back street rounds for this series. Then we've got, if you don't mind, the super sprint from Sandown to follow that. Sam Chapman leads here, 537. A little bit hot under the collar at the moment is our mate Chapo, getting ready for the Porsches. Hopefully he'll put the misfortune of Formula V to one side and redeem himself in the Porsche Cup. 503 for Willie Blair, Craig Bond, 488. Jonathan Akers, 464, and Luke Alavoine, 431. 1 point clear of Paul Wood, then 397 for Jason Wilkinson, Luke Brooker, 380, Dane Snadden, 376, and Cooper Friend, 375 points at this stage of the season as we venture into the 8th of 10 rounds. And a 40-minute race tonight here for you, ladies and gentlemen, as we get set to rock and roll. Are we able to go live onto the circuit at this particular point in time, Mr. Neil, just to see where we're at? Oh, we've gone back to 2 minutes into qualifying. What's going on here? Oh, no.
I am having an issue. I think I'm going to have to reconnect.
You've come back from across the ditch, and the iRacing world has just crapped itself.
It has, absolutely.
We will try and get to the race start for you in just a few moments' time, ladies and gentlemen. I'll leave you to work on that. You just let me know when we've got some live pictures coming in here, because at the moment my timing screen is absolutely frozen on 2 minutes and 8 seconds into qualifying. But what I can tell you is that Sam Muir has pole position alongside Luke Alavoine and Eli Donaldson by the looks of what we've seen play out throughout the course of that 30-minute qualifying session, because the timing screen is frozen on 2 minutes and 8 seconds, but we've actually got all the data from the 21, 22 laps that all the drivers have logged. Eli Donaldson, Sam Chapman, getting very well acquainted with each other tonight, having shared the track in Formula V. The teammates are on the second row of the grid. Craig Bond, Willie Blair, Oscar Haynes, Jason Wilkinson, Mark Heppel, and John Akers will make up your top 10. Whilst Neely tries to get that sorted, let's go around the grounds for you. Excuse me. As I said, during the Formula Vs, if my voice box was the equivalent of a V8, we're working with 2 less cylinders for the balance of the night. We're down to a V6 for the balance of the evening. So I'll be on the Strepsils and honey once the broadcast is done here, I can guarantee you that. Adelaide 39 lead, Geelong 33 at halftime in Thursday night AFL at the Adelaide Oval. That's 6-3 plays 4-9. Halftime at 4 Pines Park in Sydney, the home of the Manly Seagulls. They lead the South Sydney Rabbitohs 10-8 in Thursday night NRL. England are up against New Zealand in the first test of the summer in the United Kingdom as we get ready for the race now, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we're lining up on the grid, so that's good news. We can bring you the grid in just a moment. There we go. Have a look. We're back and we're live as well. Well done, Neely. You've done a masterful job there. You can get lucky sometimes. We can tell you that England are 1 for 24 in that match against New Zealand. So New Zealand chose to field. So they've put Bazball into bat, but the umbrellas are out early there at Lords, where play only started at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And Pakistan and Australia gets underway at 9:30 p.m. So we'll bring you some updates from the third one-day international in Lahore a little bit later on. here. Sam Muir, Eli Donaldson, front row. Luke Alavoy and Sam Chapman, second row. Third row, Craig Bond, Willie Blair. Fourth row, Oscar Haynes, Jason Wilkinson. Fifth row, Mark Heppel, John Akers. Sixth row, Luke Brooker and Joel Janssens. Seventh row, Paul Wood and Austin Edwards. Hey, how good was he last week, by the way? And Todd Suter and Matt Schmidtke will make up the field of 16 here as we get ready to rock and roll. The final 40-minute race of the campaign. We're all-out sprint racing from this point forward once we're done on the streets of Adelaide. 2 next week at St Pete, and then the Triple Treat Super Sprint the week after at the home of horsepower, the Sandown Motor Raceway. Green flag at the back, ready to rock and roll. Thursday night motorsport. Dessert for you is served up in the form of the Porsche Cup, and it's a beautiful start from the Sandown on the inside. The middle of Eli Donaldson to turn 1. Whoa! Watch for the pogo stick potential. The drama and carnage through the first corner as they stretch up towards turn 4 on Wakefield Street. Oh, there was a little bit of contact there, a little bit of hip and shoulder. Alavoy on Donaldson and Chapman down on his inside. Chapman to third early. That's key with a view to the championship fight. Bondi will be trying to work his way through. They're going to find overtaking difficult to come by, or overtaking opportunities rather, difficult to come by here as they make their way through. Muir, Donaldson, Chapman, Alavoy, Bond and Blair, the top 6. I mentioned the home of horsepower, Sandown. There's a little bit of breaking news, actually, as far as horse racing is concerned. Whoa! Contact and gone. Oh, no. Jason Wilkinson has just clean bowled Bondi, and also I'm just trying to work out who the other one was there as well.
I think it was Wiley Blair.
Willie Blair, yeah. Good pickup. And now Bondi, he won't be happy with that. He's under pressure here from Austin Edwards down on the inside. What a first lap for Austin. Up 4 spots into 10th. Muir leads Donaldson, Chapman, Alavoy, Haynes, Heppel, Akers, Janssens and Wood, the top 9. I was going to say, they do sound unreal, and I need to highlight that because normally the ambience comes through my earpiece a lot quieter than it does tonight. So I'm getting the full trackside ambience effect in my headset tonight, and you're right, they sound incredible. The Porsche 992.2 Cup cars, better known as the Pogo Stick of iRacing, through turn 8, a run to turn 9, and a big scrape of the wall for Luke Alavoy. By gee, he was lucky to get away with that. Under the pump from Oscar Haynes, trying to go with Chapman. Chapman out in third at the moment, chasing Eli Donaldson and Sam Muir, who have gapped the pack. 3 seconds the margin already between Muir and Chapman. Chapman's old nemesis from GT4, Sam Muir, back in the house tonight. Looking to rain on Chapo's parade on home turf, of course. He'd love nothing more than a win here, but he's going to do well to try to reel in Muir this early in the piece. That was a bad lapse in judgment. Either that or he's missed the brake pedal or mistimed, and Schmitty got compromised and caught up in all that as well. That was unfortunate. And a costly mistake for Wilkinson, not least costly for those that were implemented in it or impacted by it. Unfortunate, but we'll press on as we make our way along the back straight. And we've already heard this week, Nearly, I don't know when you've been tuning in, and we've seen you in the comments section, so you would know what I'm referring to. That was Chapman scraping the wall through turn 8 that time through. There are a few people this week that have said either we've had a brake failure or we've had a technical failure or we've missed the pedal. Bondi said I couldn't get my foot on the pedal. I missed that completely. So it happens from time to time, but to miss your brake marker on cold tyres, as everybody's still warming up, probably a fair chance that Jason Wilkinson's going to wear the rapid race control for that one.
Absolutely, he went in pretty hot, couldn't pull it up, and caused a bit of chaos. It hasn't been Jason's night either. We've got another replay to go.
Copy. Mark Keppel through into 5th place as Alavoine gets by Chapman. So the round 1 winner gets through on Chapo. And a black flag now for Wilkinson. So this will be what Neil is talking about. A mechanical, no, not a mechanical black flag, just a straight black. Drive-through penalty, stop and hold. Let's have a look at this. This is turn 9. Uh-oh. Up on the ripple strip, and the pogo stick doesn't like that. Not at all. Oh boy. In comes Jason Wilkinson. Luke Brook has also been to pit road. And can we just get a look at the weather situation there, please? Schmitty, Neely, sorry. Dry at the moment, but look how cloudy it is. Look how dark it is. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It looks like a summer thunderstorm's on its way to the streets of Adelaide. Are we about to see rain here? Mechanical meatball for Oscar Haynes. He's parked up and out of the race. 16 km/h winds, westerly direction, 20 degrees the ambient, 55% humidity, cloudy conditions, but so far it's dry. I'm wondering for how long. I don't know if you've got the radar handy there, Nearly, but I get the feeling we might be bracing for precipitation.
I don't think I can pull up the radar, can I?
No, you might not be able to. It is there in the server somewhere. But 1:08 in the afternoon. Yeah, you're right. It looks like night time. Although our Queensland audience would have a better idea of what it looks like to be that dark that early in the afternoon. They don't observe daylight saving, you remember? Sorry, that was too cheap a shot, wasn't it? That was just too good.
Absolutely zero chance of rain when I go back and have a look at the UI screen.
Okay, copy that.
It's very cloudy.
Very gloomy. The sun is trying to poke through at the top of the circuit there. You just saw a glimpse of it as they made their way through turn 13. Across the line we go. Muir, Donaldson, Alavoine, Chapman and Heppel the top 5. Wilkinson still on pit road. Haynes out of business. Rook are the last of the runners. Donaldson's copped a slowdown. And Muir leads very comfortably for now. Bondi won't be happy. I should actually go back. I do this with trepidation because the youngster from Gundagai, whilst I was commentating Formula V, thought it was a good time to message me on Snapchat. I could hear the notifications going off. I was like, okay, someone's either messaging me there because they've got no other option, which makes sense because he's implicated in that social media conundrum, or somebody wants to borrow money, or somebody's sending me something that I only want to see once, because why else would you have Snapchat, obviously? Here we go. I'm actually being told how to run my own broadcast at the moment, nearly. There's a message from the young bloke here that says, by the way, I have an exam tomorrow, so I'll probably join the booth, but expect me to leave early if I'm not one of the first interviewed, aiming to be off the sim by 10 o'clock. Okay, copy. That was the incident on the opening lap. Oh, that's another incident, actually. That's another incident. So things go from bad to worse to Bondi, who's now regressing. And Willie Blair comes to pit lane that time through. Let's have a look at this. This was from Paul Wood's standpoint, and that was happening ahead. Oh, geez, Bondi was going 2 for the price of 1. And that was never going to work. He was never going to get away with that. So unlucky. When it rains, it pours. Pardon the pun. We were wondering if we were going to get rain. Nearly says we're not. But unfortunately, Bondi having a night to forget so far. Clean bowled at turn 9 early in the piece, and then caught up in his own incident of which he was the instigator, only a couple of laps later. And we are already through 7 laps on the streets of Adelaide. 1 minute 17.7, the standing time at the moment. So, I mean, you're looking at about 8 laps every 10.25 minutes. Whoa, jeez. It's getting ugly, isn't it? 8 laps in about 10.25 minutes when they next come through past the strike. So, on that notion, we're not going to get 41 minutes into this race, I don't think, because once you take the pit stop into the equation, we'll finish somewhere in the early part of that 41st minute. So 8 laps, 16, 24, 30. Let's say we're probably looking at 31 laps tonight. Probably 31. And if not 30 by the skin of our teeth. But 30, 31 laps is about where the goalposts are here tonight on the streets of Adelaide. 10 minutes gone already on lap 8. And this is Chapman under pressure from Heppel on the run down to turn 9, I should say. And a huge crowd on hand here too. Have you enjoyed what you've seen so far this week, Nearly? And obviously that includes sitting out part of GT3 on Monday night as well. I mean, we have on a couple of occasions had comments from you far too early in the piece. We'd much rather see you out there in the thick of it on the racetrack, but circumstances have compromised your ability to do that. But what have you made of what you've seen so far this week? Because you've been in the comment thread on a few occasions.
Yeah, I've been in there a few occasions. It's always good to get in there and have a bit of banter in the chat. It's always good racing to watch. Miami was a bit of a nightmare for me. Up into Pro, I'm ready to go back to Pro-Am. I think I'm actually going to dock my throttle 10%, so I'm not sitting right on that cusp.
Oh, so in other words, you're openly admitting on the record, on air, that you're going to sandbag?
No, it's just a balance of performance. No sandbags included.
Yeah. Balance of individual performance, not necessarily car performance yet.
Yeah, correct.
Oh dear, I love it. I love it.
You can only be in the ambulance for so long going behind.
Ain't that the truth? Samuel, Eli Donaldson, Luke Alavoy, Sam Chapman, not having the top 5 on the streets of Adelaide. Second half underway in the AFL, 39-33. Adelaide over Geelong. I might actually put the other television on down here just so I can watch the other sporting events that are on tonight as we go here, ladies and gentlemen. Or, I say watch, I mean keep a watchful eye on them, whilst of course full focus is on the Porsches. Manly 14-8 up over South Sydney at the moment, and there is a kick to come there, so that could be an 8-point lead for Manly in about 5 seconds. Not bad. Hooked the kick, but it's sliced back in with the wind, and it's 16-8 in favour of Manly. Meanwhile, the third one-day international, Australia and Pakistan. The toss is imminent there from Lahore. It gets underway in about 28 minutes' time. So we'll have news from the middle there with regards to who's batting first very shortly, and you can watch that match on Fox Sports. And of course, if you are a golf fan, Live Golf from Spain underway on 7+ as we go to air tonight. And the mixed doubles final at Roland Garros underway as well. I'll have an update from that for you very soon. Looks like it could be going all the way to 3 sets, that game, the way things are going at the moment. Although, didn't I put the kiss of death on Arena Sabalenka last night? Jesus Christ. Oscar Haynes is parked up. He's out of the race. Jason Wilkinson is parked up. They're out of the race. So those two, the 2 retirements so far. Willie Blair's been to pit lane. So too Austin Edwards, Craig Bond and Luke Booker. Results from the open split to follow our broadcast tonight. Eli Donaldson chipping away at the advantage that Sam Muir enjoys at the front of the field. Luke Alavoine gather it up. He almost opened the door up there for Chapo. He's fallen back into the clutches of Sam right now. A battle for third on your screen, ramping up, heating up. Oh, Chapo. No. 2x2 to turn 8. Oh, wow. They got away with it. What about that? I thought they were destined for a date with the concrete, but somehow they get through there. Oh my goodness. Heart-and-mouth moment for both, and Chapo survives. To third he goes, or back to third in this instance. Sam Muir, Eli Donaldson, Sam Chapman. Eli Donaldson, I mentioned that he's chipping away at the advantage that Muir enjoys at the front of the field. It is 2 seconds. Donaldson last time through, 1:17.320. And again this lap, 1:17.300. The 2 fastest laps of the night so far. And there is Alavoine holding on to fourth. Half a second away from Chapman. In comes Mark Heppel. So again, we're seeing not dissimilar to what we saw at St. Pete's earlier this week in GT3 in the pit sequence being spaced out. Not a whole host of cars landing there at any given particular moment. They're all choosing wisely when to get out of the traffic and get down pit road and complete their compulsory splash and dash CPS requirements. Mark Keppel returns to the circuit in 9.87 seconds, and Bondi goes through to 11th as a result of that. Best placed of those to a stop so far is Bondi in 11th, because I don't think Luke Brooker stopping on lap 0 is going to count to towards the CPS requirements, so he's got a second invoice coming his way, and we are 15 and a half minutes in to the contest here on the streets of Adelaide.
I was going to say, Zach, I don't think some of those pit stops are entirely strategic. I think they're more forced.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. Well, particularly Blair and Bond, I think they had sustained damage down there at turn 9. Austin Edwards, not sure. Lap 7, that's an interesting time to come in. What it means is they've got to get at least 30 minutes out of the tank. At least 30 minutes out of the tank. And Willie Blair even more than that. Mark Heppel in the concrete and gone. Oh no. The first casualty of the centre chicane tonight. And there were a few of them Monday night in the Formula 3s as well. Todd Suter has a slow down to serve. Of course, doing great things in GT3 at the moment is Todd Suter. I mentioned that he is leading his split at the moment. We brought you up to date with all that on Monday night. Now, I just want to remind everybody that next Monday night we will have the AM split and the Pro-Am split in focus when we go to the Red Bull Ring. And Todd Suter is the leader of the AM split at the moment. 580 points. Plays Mitchell van der Ven 565 and Dale Sharp 555. 25 points covers the top three. 3 different manufacturers, Aston, Lambo and McLaren at the moment. We've picked up... Oh, hang on. Who have we picked up? Neely's having a technical issue. So enjoy these scenic shots of the streets of Adelaide. I'll keep calling as though it's a radio call. I did this last night because Mav had to go to the intermission screen because everyone was blinky billing all over the place. And at the moment, oh no, we've got cars back on screen. There we go. I was a little bit worried that I might have to fly blind again to the old trackside commentary when you've only got your line of sight as your point of reference. 20 past 1 in the afternoon local server time. Donaldson in second, chasing Sam Muir at the moment. The margin 2 seconds.
It's been a bit cursed lately, the software.
No, hasn't it? Absolutely. Between you and Yeaman and Lavis, you can't take a trick.
It's probably not the software, to be honest with me. It's one user error.
It's a spacer problem. The thing between the seat and the control panel. Oh dear, I love it. 18 minutes gone. I don't envy you though. I wouldn't want your job. Not at all. Eli Donaldson there second at the moment. 1.86 the margin to Sam Muir. Chapman is third. Alavoid is fourth. And it's a huge gap back to Jensen's Wood, Akers, Schmidtke and Suter. Luke Brooker is showing as pit lap 0. So that says to me that he started from pit road. And if that's the case, then he still has to come and complete a compulsory pit stop in this race. Otherwise, he'll cop the same invoice that the two boys copped last night at the end of the 86 race. That was comical. And here is Eli Donaldson for Vermilion in second place at the moment. Well clear, 9 seconds clear of Chapo. Chapo will be coming in off the long run tonight. I've been advised that we need to have 7-second delay ready for Chapo. In which case, if we go off air at any point or he falls silent at any point, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just giving you forward warning that it's because he's dropping F's and C's everywhere. We're right on board with Sam Muir now. Enjoy the view, enjoy the ride, enjoy the sound of the Porsche hard at work. To lap Austin Edwards. Obviously, Austin's already stopped. And that just goes to show the difference between the pace of those who had a clean run and how quickly you fall behind on the back foot when you do get caught up in incidents and trouble. He ordered the, oh, geez, he had to back out of that. Now the Woods gives way. Rocker comes in to complete that routine pit stop now, so that confirms what we thought. In 8.33 seconds. That is as slick and as polished a lap as you're ever likely to see from Sam Muir. I'm sorry I had to jump in there on a couple of occasions, folks, but yes, that was a hell of a lap. That is not a good moment, however, for Paul Wood. You saw him clout the wall. I would not be surprised if the car's broken. Jeez, that was a heavy hit, and Woodsy's going to pit lane. Now, thankfully, he hadn't already completed his compulsory pit stop, so there will be a fast repair there waiting for him. John Akers, having already been poleaxed by Bondi earlier in the piece, he comes across the line now in 6th. Matt Schmicke 7th and Todd Suter in 8th. And they are the 8 that are yet to stop. Quickly to Roland Garros, Dabrowski and King. 6-4 in the first set over Arani and Vavasori. They've made light work at the second set, leading 5-1. So it looks as though the mixed doubles final at Roland Garros. Whoa! Whoa! Austin Edwards! That explains what happened to him. By gee, he's crashed at Burt in the big way. We have our 3rd retirement of the night. Can we get another look at that, please, Neely? Holy smoke. If that's a real-world incident, you're going to the infield medical centre just for observation. Have a look at the impact here. Bang! And it lifted. And it lifted off the ground. It was doing a MotoGP-inspired wheelie. Holy smoke! You don't have a small incident on the streets of Adelaide. Jason Bright can attest to that, so can a few others. But wow. And all in the landing, the awkwardness. If you get that centre chicane wrong and you get a little bit too greedy with that ripple strip and runoff area, that AstroTurf, that bitumen there, that's outside the white lines of the field of play, then yeah, that's the price you pay. Austin Edwards out of the race. Our 3rd retirement of the night. John Akers, Joel Jansen's come through for their compulsory pit stop at the end of lap 17. We are on lap 18. Sam Muir leads from Eli Donaldson and Sam Chapman. Only the top 6 now yet to stop. Jeez, that was an enormous crash for Austin Edwards. Speaking of enormous crashes, though, I don't know how much of the tennis you've been watching, Neely. I must say I love my tennis. I love the majors when they're on. I've been watching a little bit more of Roland Garros this year than I normally would because I now have access to Stan Sport up in the bedroom. So when I go up at the end of the night, I can put it on the telly rather than just having to sit down here. And once you're tired, you want to sit in your bed, or once you're asleep, you don't want to get up and trundle down the stairs. You know what I'm saying? And now that the internet connection's a lot more stable and all that sort of stuff, obviously, there's no more Aussies in the mix there. Seeds have been crashing left, right and centre. It has been a fascinating tournament, but I may have put the ultimate kiss of death on Arena Sabalenka last night. I don't know if you saw it, but when we got off air here last night, she was 2 points away from the match. She didn't win another game. She lost that game and then lost the next 9. She lost the second set 7-5. She lost the third baby 6-love. In one of the ultimate chokes and capitulations you'll ever see. It was extraordinary.
The commentator's curse going in parallel.
Correct. And I had nothing to do with the tennis. I'm just a part-time sim racing motorsport commentator. Oh, actually, no, sorry. Correct. I say part-time. This is actually my full-time gig. And that was a nice little catch from Sam Muir. He had that sliding through turn 1. This is my full-time gig, 40 weeks a year. I'm a part-time real-world motor racing commentator these days. It used to be the other way around, but life's like that sometimes. Round we go. This is Sam Muir, the leader on the streets of Adelaide. He is 1.5 seconds clear of Eli Donaldson. You just get the feeling this is going to be decided on strategy through the pit transit. It's certainly warming up for that sort of climax and conclusion. Chapo well clear of Alaboyne now in the battle of the third. And we'll be hoping he's done enough to cover off the likes of Bondi and Blair and Wood and Heppel. Don't forget, stay with us post-race, folks. We'll wrap it all up for you. We'll make sense of the night that was. We'll hopefully have a look at the open split results. Adam Wavis, if he's able to crunch the numbers for us, will do so. But I don't know what his work schedule is, whether he's got a 4:30 start tomorrow morning or not. I don't know how he's going with his own title aspirations in the open split at the moment, because we know that he's leading the points race there right now. Austin Edwards, welcome to the comment thread. Welcome to the comment house. Oh, wow. Austin was not looking forward to Adelaide. He made that abundantly clear when we spoke to him earlier in the week. Because it was this time last week, wasn't it, that we were speaking to him about that? We were talking about this and also, of course, St. Petersburg next week. And he made it abundantly clear to anyone that was willing to listen that he was not a fan of the streets of Adelaide. And considering the way he crashed out of it tonight, he's standing by that statement. Can't say I blame him. But yes, straight from the cockpit to the lounge and to our interactive comment section on our YouTube broadcast feed. Wherever you're watching this, however you're watching this, folks, be it via Facebook or YouTube, we sincerely hope that you're enjoying it. Have a look at how greedy Muir gets with that inside ribble strip at turn 1. Donaldson giving good chase. He's to within a second. So this has been a magnificent comeback from Eli Donaldson to get within a second of Muir now. And lap traffic's about to play its part here. That's Luke Brooker that they're coming up on the back of. And we are 27 3/4 minutes into this race, which meant, geez, that went quick. Blimey. Which means we're talking now, as Brooker gives way, we're talking now about critical lap number. They'll be making their way to pit lane for their splash and dash imminently, and it could well be on Eli Donaldson's it could be on his call here at the moment. It could really rest in his lap, because the way he's fought his way back, Newell will be aware that he's looming large and getting closer by the minute. But also more than that, if he's been able to do some saving along the way, he may well be able to leapfrog Muir on pit road. He may well be able to, he could undercut him, he might overcut him. I don't know how it's going to play out, but this race is going to go right down to the wire. .94. Luke Alaboyne into pit road now. And then there were 4. Schmidtke, Chapman, Donaldson, Muir, the only ones yet to stop. No surprise to see Chapman running it long, but he is 11 seconds back. Muir and Donaldson first and second at the moment. And this will be interesting to see if Donaldson's been able to save any fuel whilst chipping away at Muir, or whether Muir has been saving fuel along the way whilst controlling his advantage at the front and not being put under any serious pressure. It's vitally important that they hit their markers and nail this pit lane transit. Donaldson's wide. That won't help. Advantage Sam Muir. It was only going to take one little slip up, and there it was from Donaldson. He lost 0.6 of a second in that, Andrew Neil, and that could well be game over right here and now.
Yeah, absolutely. The previous 3 laps, he was up a second, essentially, so that was a costly mistake.
Now, I don't mean to alarm anybody, but I'm happy for an early mark tonight. Not because of the tennis, but because the Seven Network, in their infinite wisdom, and I say that sarcastically, have decided to take next Monday night's scheduled episode of Home and Away and put it in at 7:30 tonight, meaning that there's 2 episodes of Home and Away to sit there and watch. And also last night's episode that I didn't get to because I was in here till 12:15 chatting with our good mate Dave Bolivar. So, yeah, I'm happy to sit on the lounge and watch 90 minutes of Home and Away tonight. But then I don't get any until Tuesday, which I think is a bit of a rip-off. Just because the progressive and civilised parts of the country are having a long weekend isn't a good enough excuse to take Home and Away off out of the 7 p.m. time slot, especially when it's rating its backside off at the moment. But anyway, I'll have more to say about that a little bit later on. Sam Muir, Eli Donaldson and Sam Chapman, the top 3. Surely they're coming to pit road this time. This is the end of lap 24. Oh, they're going again. They're going again. This is the 25th lap of the run, Andrew. And we're more than 3/4 of the way through the race. Either the circuit's incredibly good for fuel economy, or there's something we're not aware of. Chapo comes in at the end of lap 24. Muir has got around the lap traffic there of Todd Suter. And he's now in the road for Eli Donaldson, so that's not a good thing for Eli. But this is incredible from an economic standpoint, fuel economic standpoint, because normally 75% race distance is that threshold. That's where you're talking about that critical number to come in and collect that splash and dash and go. Big hit of the wall. That was Luke Brooker, or Todd Suter, I should say. Oh my goodness. The first real cloud of the wall at turn 8, and somehow he drove away from it.
He's going again.
In comes Eli Donaldson. So he's going to try and undercut Sam Muir. He's got to try something, Neely. He has not been able to clear that 2 or so second deficit that he had. He got it to within 1, then they made that little mistake, and it's been smooth sailing for Sam Muir ever since.
I actually think Eli Donaldson pushing hard for those 3 laps probably did his tyres in, because he got a bit squirrely towards that the last couple of laps. But Sam Muir, he must be running an EV with the solar panel on the top. It's still going.
It's ridiculous. It's extraordinary to outdo Chapo when it comes to stretching the tank.
I was going to say, Chapo's going to have to go and get some lessons.
Correct. Oh, actually, no, that might be a bit of a sensitive. I don't know if we should mention that tonight. It might be a bit too sensitive. Might be a bit too soon. He's a bit shirty tonight.
And I'll have the finger on the mute button.
and more to the point, Sam Muir on more than one occasion has been the thorn in Chapo's side, the difference between winning and losing GT4 championships. So, it could be a bit sensitive. Here we go. Here's the critical moment of the race. With 6 minutes and 18 seconds on the clock. There'll be 5 laps to go at the line. So we are going to get to 31. The bingo card reads correctly. And by the way, speaking of bingo, 6 points for Geelong, 5:20 to go in the third quarter. Round the grounds for you. 7:10.52. Trail Adelaide 8:5.53. There's 1 point in the ball game at the moment between Adelaide and
Sam Muir's still
Geelong.
in there.
Sam Muir is on his way. Oh, wow. Sam Muir is on the way back out of the racetrack and has been passed by Eli Donaldson. And the difference was, I think we need to have a look. I think we need to have a look at and make sure that he didn't miss the box or something on the run through pit lane, because Eli Donaldson, sliding through. Here goes Muir for the inside for the lead. Donaldson will force the issue on the run up towards the next right-hander and will keep Muir at bay. They're going to go side by side on the run up to turn 7. Muir's still there. Now he tucks back in. I'm sure that was a seamless and smooth transition through pit lane for Sam Muir. The difference was, Andrew Neil, 4.88 seconds on the jacks for Eli Donaldson, 6.1 for Muir, 6.5 for Chapman. Here comes Muir again. No, Donaldson will keep him at bay for a little bit longer.
What is happening with the fuel calculations, and has Eli Donaldson short fuel?
Maybe so. What the bloody hell is going on? There's something in the water tonight. We've had just out-and-out spectacular racing from first until last. It has been compelling, exhilarating, captivating viewing, and it's not over yet. Just when you thought it was going to be a little bit steady Eddie, follow the leader, processional, here we go. And Sam Muir now has his work cut out for him to try and clear an 0.8 of a second advantage that Eli Donaldson has on the back of an extremely slick pit stop. But was it too slick? We'll find out in 4 laps' time. What on earth has gone on here? And that's not the only place on the racetrack where the battles are lively as well, because Matt Schmicke's got his work cut up for him, trying to hold on to ninth. He's got John Akers and Joel Janssens for company. Everywhere else you look on the racetrack, nothing. Bondi sits 5th at the moment, trails Luke Alavoine by a huge margin, trails Sam Chapman by a huge margin. They're clear of Willie Blair. Actually, Bondi can't afford to slip up because Willie Blair's there on the cusp of the top 5. If he does, cough and splutter at any point. And then Mark Heppel, Paul Wood, Matt Schmicke, John Akers, Joel Janssens, Luke Brooker and Todd Suter. Brooker and Suter have been able to get back on the lead lap. They should not go a lap down from here. We only have 3 laps to go at the line. Oh, wow. Just when you didn't see that one coming. My goodness. Now, match tiebreaker coming up in the mixed doubles on court Philippe Chatrier. They're in France. And the number 1 seeds, Arani and Vavasori, I should say, have won the second set 6-3 after losing the first 4-6. And as a result of that, match tiebreaker to determine the mixed doubles champions for 2026 at Roland Garros. This was Sam Muir. That looks fine to me. So Donaldson has either nailed the fuel strat and the numbers mathematically speaking to avoid running the tank dry, or we're going to see some clutching and saving going on in the closing few stages. Time will tell. That margin is a second. You could just imagine that he might cough and splutter out of the final corner coming onto the main straight, if it's going to happen. It's a 31-lap race. That's what our numbers have been telling us right from the outset here. There are 2 to go at the line. And Eli Donaldson is holding on to the lead, having followed Sam Muir all night long. He would have been sick of looking at the back of Muir's Porsche. Now he gets a chance to return the favour and look at clear air in the distance. Clear track ahead of him, huge crowd on hand to cheer him home. Vermilion Esport, not the regular Vermilion Esport front runner that was seen in the Porsche Cup so far this season. Instead, his teammate Muir out sideways onto the main straight. Got a little bit too greedy with a curve there across the start-finish strike, and that, well, could be game over. 1.1 now, the advantage to Eli Donaldson. And the GT3 champion, or current reigning champion, I should say. We don't know who this term's champion's going to be. It's a 3-horse race. The current reigning champion in GT3 is going to convert his sports car form over into Porsche GT3 Cup racing. And this will be a sensational win on the streets of Adelaide if he can hold on over the remaining lap and a half. What a night we've had. Great drama, great excitement, great action. Great excitement. And if you haven't enjoyed this one, again, go and check your pulse. Although that being said, I might have to check my heart rate and blood pressure as well. By gee, what a night we've had. Somehow, I didn't think the voice box was going to hold out and last the distance here, Neely. The Formula V's did a number on it. And now we have one lap to go here, and Muir is within a second, but it looks as though the chance to convert pole into victory will elude him. White flag in the air on the streets of Adelaide. See, how about that? You've got to applaud the dedication of iRacing, don't you? They can get Barney from the Adelaide airport to the Adelaide Parkland street circuit. They can't get him past reception at the bend. They can't get him onto his flag post or point there. They can get him as far as the front door of the Shaheen Museum, but they cannot get him out on the racetrack. But here on the streets of Adelaide, oh, Barney, have the best seat in the house. Welcome. Fair dinkum. Back straight, final time. Eli Donaldson in great control of this one now, having played follow the leader all night long. He used strategy to his benefit and has pulled out an almighty strategy power play here to put himself in front for the small run to the checkered flag. And what a run it's been. Two of these guys at the top of their game for 40 minutes, and barely a second's going to separate them. Last turn, checkered flag. Welcome back to victory lane in the GSRC Porsche Cup for Million Esports. Not Chapo this time, instead Eli Donaldson. Oh, round 8 victory goes to Eli on the streets of Adelaide. The Million have been a dominant force this season in the Porsche Cup. Again, they'll have 2 on the podium. Again, Chapo likely ruining what might have been. But in a glass half empty, glass half full sort of equation here, or scenario, at least he's had a far better run than what he managed up in Formula V. Wouldn't be hard. And at least when you look at the championship picture, he's fended off and seen off the threat of all his potential would-be title contenders. Willie Blair, Craig Bond, John Akers, they've all finished behind him. Chapo the best place to the championship contenders tonight to keep his title aspirations alive. Wow. All right, give me a second. I need to find a strepsil. I'm not waiting until we get off air for one of those tonight. We'll soothe the throat as the post-race show plays out. What about that? Thoughts on that, Neely? I mean, I was a little bit surprised that we only really saw 2 big crashes here. I thought we were going to get a lot more than that, given the pogo stick nature of that Porsche.
Hey, what a race. What a race.
Didn't disappoint, did it? And what a move. We mentioned that it could be one on the undercut or the overcut. The drama, obviously, involving Jason Wilkinson earlier in the piece. Didn't see what happened to Oscar Haynes, but unfortunately, Wilkinson's incident implicated the Knights of Bondi and Blair, and also, of course, Bondi then got stuck into Akers. So all those guys have had little moments along the way, but the 2 guys that kept it clean at the front were the 2 guys that brought it home 1 and 2, and the 2 guys that ended up putting on one hell of a show. And as I said, the trick was the undercut and the overcut. The overcut for Eli Donaldson and Sam Muir. Muir, of course, going in later, Donaldson going in earlier, and 1.3 seconds quicker off the jacks. And that proved to be pivotal, vitally important, and race defining. And Eli Donaldson for Vermilion Esport. They were 1 and 3 tonight. The 9.5 entry of Sam Muir in for position number 2. Oh dear. I'll get to Bondi in just a moment because I know he's on a curfew. I've already been I've already been threatened that he's got an exam tomorrow, which takes priority, and he's only going to be leaving here at 10 o'clock. So I'll get to him very shortly. But let me say, Eli Donaldson, firstly, where the bloody hell have you been on a Monday night? But you've carried over the form that we're so used to seeing you bring to the table in GT3 and just converted it beautifully into that Porsche. That was a brilliant drive, mate. Well done. We thought the chance might have gone begging there when you locked it up and run it wide at turn 9 before the pit stop, but by gee, were we wrong. That was a power play, a master stroke, a master class from you going into pit lane, 1.3 seconds quicker on the jacks than anybody else, 1.7 quicker than your teammate Chapo, and you come out with your nose ahead of Sam Muir. You overcut him in the pit stops there. That was a brilliant drive, mate. Well done. And then you saw off the threat as he tried to return serve on you to try and get back to where he was, and you weren't having a bar of that. That was a brilliant drive.
Yeah, thank you very much. I've been racing NASCARs. I've been turning left on a Monday night, and that's the predicament I was going to be in with Monday night GT3s. The new Oscar series for AOGs just started, so I've got to qualify my way into that. So unfortunately, I'm going to put the rest of my effort into that, and I won't be coming back for GT3 this season or for the foreseeable future at the moment while Oscar's on. But tonight, I did what I thought my mate Chapo, or my teammate Chapo, would do. I sort of, first few laps, was trying to push to keep up with Sam, and I felt that I was just burning my stuff and just overdriving it, and it just wasn't flowing very nicely. So I, about 5 or 6 laps in, I just decided to just roll off, lift and coast into all the corners, and just started to flow a bit nicer. So I saw a bit of a gain there, and then got to was starting to get to him, and every time I just started to get to him, I picked up a bit of traffic or got an off track or a slow down through the centre chicane. So I thought I'd just jump in, and I was going to probably be better than on him on fuel. So I just jumped in, and it sort of worked out. I was looking at the delta the whole way down pit straight to see where he was, and luckily it went my way.
To be fair, that teammate of yours comes with a language warning tonight, by his own admission too, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have a dump button. We don't have a 7-second delay, but we do have a director and producer that's on standby to just mute him completely if the language becomes a little bit too fruity for this time slot, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm just giving you fair warning that parental guidance is best advised when we get to Sam Chapman a little bit later on in this post-race show, because he was a little bit spicy after Formula V, Eli, and I guess glass half empty, glass half full. If when you look at how his race played out, and we'll hear it from his own standpoint in just a few moments' time, he will be disappointed at the fact that he could only be third tonight. But if he's going to lose to 2 people, he'd much prefer that one of them's A, a teammate, and B, both of you aren't in the championship fight here.
Yeah, we've seen it before. Like I've said previously in GT3 leagues, you got to race who your championship is, not who's on the track at the night. So for Chapo, Muir and myself weren't like, if he could race with us, it would be awesome. But at the end of the day, we weren't his championship rivals. He's racing everyone else in the series behind him. As long as he's beating those guys on a regular basis and he loses it to us tonight, we're only taking points off the rest of the field and him. It's not like a big deal. So it comes down to knowing who you're racing.
So now that you're committed elsewhere on a Monday night, we can definitively go on the record with everybody at home and say we're going to have a new champion in Waste Options GT3 this term. And it's not beyond the realms of possibility now either, ladies and gentlemen, that Matty Dench could sneak up on everybody and take title number 14. So watch this space, because he is finishing with a wet sail, right? So that's obviously disappointing for us, knowing that you're tied up elsewhere, because we've enjoyed what you brought to the table in GT3. It's been brilliant. But does that mean that because the NASCAR holds precedence and preference on a Monday night, that this Porsche gig might become your new regular as far as the GSRC is concerned, based on what we saw over the last 40 minutes?
It's hard to say. I'm sort of tied up for the whole week, obviously, with partner and outside commitments. It's sort of hard to get to the sim on a regular basis. I've said that previously, I'm lucky to squeeze into a Saturday, Sunday, Monday sort of routine. So I'm probably pushing to get on a Thursday. sort of on holidays at the moment with work, so it sort of worked out nicely that this was on. I saw it was Adelaide. I was doing majors prep and I threw that in the bin. So I sort of saw this was Adelaide and was like, oh, why not Adelaide? I love the Adelaide street circuit, so I thought I'd come and give it a whirl.
All right, very nicely done. And obviously you've torn it to shreds. You've smashed it out of the park. From your standpoint, what have you made of these 992.2 cars? Because they've received quite mixed reviews. And again, if it's only going to be a sporadic sort of, cameo appearance for you, an opportunity to go and have a steer of them, you must be pleased with what you've been able to bring to the table in that car so far.
Yeah, I think if it was any other track, I probably would have struggled. So I got lucky with track choice. It just really doesn't like the bumps, this car. It's very bouncy. So, I mean, I don't know how I wrangled it around the curbs, but I don't know, unnecessarily bouncy. But at the same time, like you said, I've adapted quite well to the GT3s, and this sort of drives like a GT3 now. So if you can sort of drive around the bumpiness and you can drive it like a GT3, then it's not too bad.
Indeed, and for 40 minutes, mate, I mean, normally we throw you out there for sprint racing on the streets of Adelaide, but I didn't mind that longer distance tonight. It allowed it to play out a little bit more authentically. And from your standpoint, it must have been nice to be able to put one on Sam Muir, who we know is no slouch when it comes to GT4 or GT3 machinery. Chapo obviously still has nightmares with the battles that he's had with him in GT4, but obviously he brings a lot to the table when it comes to the Porsche Cup car as well.
Yeah, Sam's no slouch in these cars or in general. Really good driver, really consistent. He's quick regardless of what he races. So, it's just like I said, I don't think I would have beaten him if it was any other track or tonight. I think I sort of, like I said, with Adelaide, I sort of got the luck. And once I sort of threw myself through the centre chicane twice in 2 laps, it sort of just changed to get in a rhythm and start beating down the laps. So I definitely preferred the regular race compared to the sprint racing. So it would be interesting to see what we did in the future.
The fact that it wasn't that you've got some time off work at the moment, you had a night up your sleeve in which to jump in and have a steer around here also explains why, I should say, we saw you in Formula V earlier in the night. I haven't forgotten about that. We'll come back to that in a moment. And I'm looking forward to getting Chavo's thoughts more on the Porsche, but I know he wants to get something off his chest with regards to the V2. But from your standpoint, when you talk about the Porsche Cup racing, mate, the streets of Adelaide, you mentioned the centre chicane. I think I saw a slowdown flag next to your name on a couple of occasions. How on edge were you, and how close were you to coming undone at various points tonight? Because it looked like you guys were leaving nothing on the table.
Yeah, it was hard because you sort of really got to commit to the first apex at the turn 1, and being that there's a immovable tyre barrier there makes it very daunting. And then you add the bumpiness of the bounciness of the Porsche Cup car. Was sort of trying to get a flow through the centre chicane that it would ride the second bump nicely. I did work it out towards the end when I was trying to just be conservative, that you can drive around the first one and get around the second one, and it sort of just jumps it nicely. But yeah, it was I learned early that where the limits were with the slowdown penalties.
All right, very nicely done. Stay with me, mate. I'm coming back to you in a moment. We have news from Pakistan too, by the way, boys. Australia have won the toss. They've chosen to bat. The match has been delayed. I'm not 100% sure as to why, whether it was rain or some other hold up, but yes, they've had some rain over there, and that has delayed the game by 15 minutes. So play about to start, and you'll see it on Fox Cricket and KO Around Australia, Channel 501. Eli, how is the NASCAR going for you, mate? Because, I mean, from my standpoint, right, and I watch a lot of motor racing, and I love it, and I commentate a lot of sim racing and love that equally as well. But there's a different vibe about that NASCAR caper, isn't there? Obviously, the paddock in the real world still very heavy-hearted, dealing with the very sudden and unexpected loss of the legend Kyle Busch. But it can be a hard watch sometimes because it's such a very different discipline to what we're used to. The notion of predominantly turning left, as you say. There are a couple of road courses in there for good measure, and we've seen Shane Van Gisbergen do his best on those in the last couple of weeks, particularly that stunning drive at Watkins Glen. But it's a different niche discipline, isn't it? Because no two ovals are the same. It can become a little bit tedious unless you're on one of those ovals like Atlanta or Daytona or Talladega, where everyone's bunched up and you've got to really work hard to stay out of trouble. But it's a different skill set. Talk us through how you're enjoying the challenges associated with that.
Yeah, it's good. Sort of, I mean, the last 2 rounds we've done had Charlotte, obviously, the same weekend or the same week as Coke 600. So we run the Xfinity car instead, or the O'Reilly car instead of running the Cup car, because people have done various other NASCAR leagues, and I think the general consensus is the Cup car's not as enjoyable to drive as what the O'Reilly car is. So that's what we're running. But it's quite similar to the GT3 caper. Instead of saving fuel, you're sort of saving the right-hand front tyre or the right-hand rear tyre, especially on a long stint or long runs that can go 40, 50, 60 laps. If the more you can save your right-hand front tyres or your right-side tyres, the better you are over the long distance. So it's still definitely something I'm learning week to week. But yeah, it's similar to GT3. Like I said, lifting coast, you're sort of lifting into the corners to save the tyres. So it's not too different, but the pack racing, making sure that you're giving each other room and where everyone is, it's definitely a lot tighter and a lot closer.
Indeed it is. All right, so obviously that's your next assignment. I won't ask whether we're going to see you over the next 2 weeks in the Porsches at any point. We'll just wait to be surprised if life circumstances and schedule allows you to be here. St. Petersburg, of course, you're familiar with already, no doubt. And, of course, we all know Sandown. We all love Sandown. Looking forward to those 2 stops. What's left as far as the Porsche Cup campaign is concerned. I'll get Bondi and Chapo's thoughts on that in just a few moments. I'm going to go to Bondi first and give Chapo an extra couple of minutes to cool down. Let me ask you about Formula V, because it was nice to see you out there as well. A little bit of a wild card cameo appearance. And I just naturally thought that you'd heard all about the fun of the fair and the fact that it's the hottest ticket in town, the best racing on the club service. I just thought that was the reason you wanted to be out there in the thick of it. What'd you make of it, please?
Throw them in the bin. They're rubbish. No. I'm a completely
like that.
I jumped into V's. What was my practice? I did 10 minutes qualifying. That was my practice for V's. Then found out halfway through race 1 that my clutch pedal doesn't work, which is good. So I was using the clutch pedal on the wheel, which then I had auto shift on anyway, so it was slower. And then ran out of talent in race 1, so that was good. Missed the invert, so that was even better. Race 2, figured it out, tried to pack race, and then ran out of more talent, which was good. And then race 3, I was right up there, and then I figured out why I don't like open wheelers, because Merritt and my wheel decided to intertwine, and that was me done. So I think I'll just stick to tin tops where I can just rub doors instead of rubbing wheels. Or just blowing up and getting flown to the sky.
Yeah, rubbing wheels doesn't usually, it's not usually advised. It doesn't usually end well. There are 1 or 2 instances where I've been able to see people get away with it, but it is a bloody rare thing. We love Formula V. Just the lottery of it and the closeness of it. You've really got to be on your toes. Not dissimilar to NASCAR pack racing, those things.
Yeah, except you can rub doors and not get sent to planet space instead of staying on the track. So it probably reiterates why I don't like open wheelers and why I don't run them officially. So might throw them back in the locker and just stick to tin tops.
Oh dear. Well, you're welcome to come and run Tin Tops with us anytime the schedule permits you to do so. Fantastic. And on that subject, if you want door rubbing that offers the same sort of racing as the pack racing in the NASCAR and the Formula Vs, come and join us in the 86s anytime you like. I don't think there's anything else left to add to that. Tyre wear actually is one thing that we were wondering about, because it looked as though like you guys were fighting it towards the end there. I didn't know if there was any merit in taking any fresh rubber on pit lane. I didn't think there'd be any time for you to be able to do that. But what was it like from your perspective? How were the tyres towards the back end of that stint?
You could definitely feel them wearing. I don't think the Porsche Cup does tyres and fuel at the same time. So
No.
I only needed like 6 litres of fuel anyway, or 7 litres because I was saving. So I didn't really bother. I knew even if we could do tyres and fuel, it wouldn't cover anything. So definitely they were wearing. I think because I was lifting and coasting and rolling or scrubbing less speed through the corners, sort of looked after them. But they, like you saw at the hairpin before I pitted, I had that little moment because I went wide and scrubbed off too much speed, and then they sort of went to pits and just cooled down a little bit. So they came back a little bit. I struggled on the outlap because I thought, I underdrove the outlap because I didn't know what I had under me. And then, yeah, they were sort of, once they got back to temperature, they were right to the end.
And it's also interesting as well when you say that. You've answered the other question we had for you as well, because the fact that you were able to fuel save explains why you were 1.3 seconds quicker on pit lane. Were you at any point in any danger of potentially coughing and spluttering or not?
Nah, still had heaps. Still had probably 600-700 mil. And more than that. Yeah, it was probably 600-700 mil of fuel left, so I still had heaps. I think I was burning, I think the race burn was like 1.9 and I was burning maybe 1.8, something like that. So just lifting and coasting into the main areas just to, I guess, I found, like I said, I was overdriving the first few laps, and then once I could sort of get in a flow and in a rhythm, the fuel save didn't really hurt me too much. It actually probably made me quicker.
And if nothing else, you've raised the bar for where the goalposts are when you hot shots, you heavyweights are in town in this Porsche Cup Series on the platforms of the GSRC. So there's a bit of work for the rest of the paddock to do on the back of what you and Sam Muir brought to the table tonight. There's no doubt about that. And it just goes to show, the economic nature of what you were able to achieve tonight. The fuel economy must have been exceptional. And secondly, the fact that you've out-chapoed Chapo at his own game there. He was in pit lane a lap before you, and also on the jacks a good 1.7 seconds longer. Unbelievable.
It's very rare that you out-Chapo, but
absolutely,
you'll understand why I out-Chapoed it. When we get to Chapo, you'll understand. So I'm looking forward to it, to hearing what Chapo has to say.
All right, we'll stay there. Who would you like to thank before I go to Bondi, please?
All the guys at Vermilion Esports, Hymo Setups, Lewis Greathead Coaching, and all the guys that make GSRC happen on a week-to-week basis. We couldn't do it without you guys, so we appreciate what you guys will do for us, and we'll see you around.
You will indeed. Thank you. Stay there because I know you're very interested in hearing what your teammate's got to say, as am I, actually, quite frankly. Around the grounds, 28-14, Manly too good for South Sydney Thursday night, NRL for you at Four Pines Park in Sydney. Lords, we're delayed due to rain there. We have been for a good hour now. England having been sent into bat by New Zealand, 1 for 24 in the first cricket test of the English summer, and Australia 1 for 5 already. Can you believe that? Matthew Short, a second ball duck, gone. See you later. His Pakistan tour is over. Marnus Labuschagne and Josh Inglis now out there 1 for 5 after 7 balls in a 50-over contest to determine the series winner. Australia and Pakistan and Australia.
A stump?
Sorry?
Was he using a batter or a stump? Must have missed it.
Oh, yeah, well, that's exactly right. He was, let me just have a look at the form of dismissal there for you. I'll give you an idea. Caught. So, no, he's probably got a thick edge on the bat. I would hazard a guess. So, yes, Matty Short gone, done. Inglis and Labuschagne out there. Now, remember, the Aussies have batted first in both those two matches so far, and lost 1-1. Series on the line tonight, and you can watch that on Fox and KO. Also, that mixed doubles final, won by Irani and Vavasori, the Italians, the number one seeds. 4-6, 6-3, 10-4 in the match tiebreaker. Adelaide currently lead Geelong 11-7, 73 to 8, 11, 59. And I don't think there's anything else I have to cover off there with regards to how the points or how the night is going around the grounds style. We'll come back to the AFL when it concludes, and we'll give you an update on the cricket before we sign off tonight. That was a big one for Austin Edwards, my goodness. Adam Lavis is crunching the numbers as we speak by the looks of this, so we might have some live points for you before we get off air tonight, so stick around for that. I don't think we'll have Formula V because we've only got two drivers to get to, but we should have the Porsches for you, ladies and gentlemen, to give you an idea of where things sit going into the second last round. Bondy, I know I've only got you for a couple of minutes before you prioritise school, which is a nice change of pace for you and nice to hear. Bad luck is all I'm going to say. I mean, nice recovery. You come home fifth, but that's provisionally. I haven't seen anything come through from race control. There were a couple of moments. You were caught up. You were poleaxed at turn 9 by Jason Wilkinson early in the race, and then unfortunately you did to John Akers what Wilkinson did to you. You got into the side of him trying to go 2 for the price of 1 down there at turn 9. Was it a misjudgment? Did you miss the marker, or were you keen or determined or confident that you could pull the move off?
I just couldn't get this car pulled up. I was only aiming for the 1 position, but yeah, is what it is. Just totally unlucky tonight, especially with lap 1, because if it wasn't for lap 1, I wouldn't have been in that situation at all. So
True.
Well, it could have been.
It could have been as well. Listen, lap 1 was, unlucky. Obviously, we don't like to see races compromised by incidents like that. But credit to you. You pushed on, you got on with it, head down, eyes forward, etc. I mean, obviously, the sad thing is the red mist would have firmly descended upon the cockpit. When you say you mistimed, you couldn't pull it up, was that another recurrence of the issue you had where you couldn't find the pedal earlier in the week, or completely not so?
No, well, 30 started the track, and then this car, I go back to left foot braking, so that I actually made the pedal. It was just getting into the ABS, which I'm struggle with a lot at this track in this car, so that's something I've got to work on, but yeah.
All right. Actually, let me ask you this random question, totally separate to what we're doing here with the Porsches. If you've got F125, the F126 season pack's available as of today. $50 they're slugging you for it, Bondi. Are you forking that coin out or not?
Don't tell anyone, but I've already done the $40. It's only $39.95 for me on Steam.
Oh, on Steam, right? Oh, yeah. It's $49.95 on PS5. And second, I know. And secondly, they said, if you've got an EA Play account, it'll be $44.95. And then I had a look and thought, because that's $60 a year, $5 a month. And then I had to look and thought, no, I don't see the benefit because I've only got 2 EA games. One is EA Sports FC26, and the other is F1. I just don't see the benefit in being there.
But while we're off topic, what's your opinion on the Melbourne Stars and Melbourne Hurricane combining or whatever next season? That shocked me.
Yeah, it shocked me as well. I'm surprised by that. The Stars, believe it or not, whenever that franchise wins their first BBL title, it'll be after giving up on the Stars doing it for them. They're changing the name. They're changing the look at everything. They've given up. Green is obviously not good luck for them. I'm just pleased that the Renegades will stay in that guise until such time as they're sold off. We know that's happening. They've been talking about privatisation for forever and a day. I'm just glad that it's not going to impact this season in terms of we're still going to have 8 teams, an 8-team normal comp, and then obviously whatever changes happen from there will happen. I guess the most surprising thing out of that was when they said it was being sold off, that it's going to stay within Victoria, because I know they've been talking about expansion going into the ACT or the other untapped markets. Maybe the Northern Territory in the past expanding the Big Bash or having a team from New Zealand or whatever, but no, it'll stay in Melbourne. So there's a lot to try and elaborate and pick apart and make sense of in all of that, Bondi, and I don't think we've got enough time left tonight to do that, but it's definitely a topic we'll pick up at another point. Summer of cricket, of course, gets underway in August with 2 tests against Bangladesh, and then, of course, when we get to November, we'll have the Women's Big Bash. In December, they're starting the bloody BBL season in Chennai. Fair income. I can't afford to go to India, so it'll be interesting to see what that means going forward for the BBL as well, because you know what it's like. Sport and money, they go hand in hand. And obviously the other big talking point this week has been the NRL broadcast rights being up for renewal in 2028. That's been front and centre of a lot of discussion this week. I've made my views on that clear on social media today. I'll be interested to hear what everybody else has to say about that. Can we move on and talk motor racing? How do you bounce back from tonight when we get to St. Pete next week? It raced really well in GT3 the other night. I look forward to seeing how the Porsches fare around there. And it's sprint racing right the way through now the rest of the season, Bondi.
Well, I think St. Pete, yes, it might provide better racing because these cars are slightly smaller than the GT3s, but I reckon it's going to be too bumpy and street course-like for any good racing. So I'm actually not quite looking forward to it, to be honest, which is a shock, but we'll see. I think I just need to put bubble wrap around this car and make it a bit wider so no one can hit me, and then maybe we'll be fine, but we'll see how we go. Got to extend this championship a bit more because tonight's really not helped my challenge of trying to move up.
No, it hasn't. And in fact, we can probably have a look at the championship points for the pro split right now, the elite split, because they have been finalised. The elite split is done. The open split still being taken care of. That's as it stands at the moment. There may be a couple of late amendments on that, but Chapo leads by 50 points on Willie Blair provisionally, of course. Whether anything's got to be adjudicated on after the fact or not, I'm not sure. But 50 points, Chapo to Willie Blair. That's the only consolation for Chapo tonight. He extended the advantage that he has at the top of the timesheets and the leaderboard and the points table, I should say. And then it's 63 points between Chapo and Bondi, making up the top 3. You've got a little bit of breathing space over Jono Akers, and he's got 18 points on Luke Alavoine, who has 6 on Paul Wood. And then, of course, back to Jason Wilkinson, who had a shocker tonight. Luke Brooker not much better, and Joel Jansen's in 9th. And then all those guys that did not race: Cooper Friend, Jaden Draper, Dane Snadden, Jordan Dakin, Cam Culverwell, and Luke King. Schmitty managed to get 9th and moves up to 16th in the running order as a result of that. Not sure what we've got to do to get lure more numbers to the Porsche house on a Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen. We'll work on that. We'll go back to the drawing board, ready for next term. We'll get to the open split once they're done, ladies and gentlemen. Bondi, it's interesting because you've got 5 races. Your comments are interesting with regards to the street racing, because that was one of the other things we were concerned about tonight with regards to these cars. They didn't pogo stick anywhere near as much as we thought they might.
Yeah, well, firstly, I feel like there's been an update because now you can put your roll bar to 0 and it didn't feel as bouncy tonight. So there's been something I've missed lately with an update. Or I've just not done much with roll bars. So I don't know what I've done lately in this car. I'm on full mental blanks. What I do these days.
Yeah, fair call. And maybe we've missed something in the background as well. I know there was a couple of maintenance updates a few weeks ago, but I'll be interested to get the thoughts of the other two with regards to that. Did you notice what Bondi's picking up there, boys? Chapo, Eli?
No, I was too slow to notice.
No, jeez. Blunt and straight to the point from Chapo. Eli, are you still in the house?
Present.
Yeah. Did you notice the roll bar adjustment that Bondi just mentioned?
No, I just drove it. So I threw a setup on it and then drove it. Normally I would play a lot with the roll bar in the GD3, but can't say I spent much attention looking at the setup other than clicking it and loading up.
Fair enough. Fair enough indeed. Hey, very nicely done. Hey, Bondi, it's 3 minutes past 10, so you're already here 3 minutes later than you're planning to be. So before you go, thoughts on, well, you've already given your thoughts on St. Petersburg, so I assume the next time we see you on broadcast is Monday night at the Red Bull Ring in GT3. What does the next few days entail once you smash this exam out of the park tomorrow morning, please?
I'm not looking forward to the exam. It's history.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought so.
But, yeah, well, you got me for endurance tomorrow night, but that's not broadcasted. Then I've got F3 Monday. I don't know what I'm going to do. 3 days of nothing. So I'll figure something to do. Hopefully I can earn some money.
But at least on the simulator. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, spend the long weekend on the sim.
Yeah, but I've got no one to do majors with. Nothing to do. So I'll figure...
Do officials, they're more fun.
F1 26. I've got to try that. I've got to try those 26 cars.
Yeah, I just get the feeling that I'm going to... See, this is the thing, right? I was umming and ahhing because the FIFA update comes tomorrow for the World Cup for EAFC 26. So I'll probably spend all weekend playing that. But at the same time, I'm thinking, you know what? It's only $50. You'd normally be paying 80 for, or, 79 or somewhere around that, if it was a holeless, bowless new game like it would normally be each and every year. Last year, we couldn't even buy it in-store at JB Hi-Fi, so we ended up paying more again online anyway. So $50 doesn't seem as much of a stretch as it used to. So I think I might just fork out and go and buy it at the end of this broadcast.
I'm free, Zach. We can play cricket. We can do...
Yeah, I think we might. I think we might have a crack. I've got to work Sunday afternoon, but we might have a crack at F1 at some point, just like the good old days. Thank you, Bondi. Well done. Who would you like to thank?
Firstly, thank you for dealing with me, Zach, and actually getting to me early on, so I don't be too tired for the exam. Happy birthday to my sister.
You idiot.
I've pretty much missed that entire night. Either way, all my sponsors: Craig Bond Racing, WKP Sim Sport. Bonmire's going to go, South going to go Automotive, going to go Tilt Trace, Fuco, Karoo Enterprise, River and Go-Kart Centre, Waggon District Kart Club, and GSRC for doing these broadcasts.
Thank you for dealing with me. That's twice in a row he's mentioned that as part of his spiel, ladies and gentlemen. So he's acknowledging publicly, just so everybody at home is aware, that he's hard work. I like it. I like it. Very nicely done. Good to catch up with you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
And good luck in that exam tomorrow as well. There he is. C. Bond. Very nicely done. 007. Hey, and gone just like a flash. We've been waiting for this for a while, and I saved the best until last, ladies and gentlemen, with that aforementioned language warning firmly front and centre right now, ladies and gentlemen. If we could put a PG watermark up in the corner, we would, but we can't. So, if anything, let's fly here. It's not on me. Chapo, good evening. Or is it?
No, it's a shit evening.
Oh, there we go. It started already. Chapo, let's be perfectly honest. Yeah, okay. That didn't go to plan in the Formula Vs. We'll come back and cover that off in more detail at the moment. But as I said to Eli, the silver lining here is that you've managed to rescue what could have otherwise been a bloody disastrous night by jagging a podium here. Okay, yeah, different postcode is where Sam Muir and Eli Donaldson ended up in at the end of the night. But what matters for you is that you were the best placed of the championship contenders. You've extended your advantage there. You've managed to mostly avoid any trouble or incidents there. You pulled off a hell of a move going through turn 8 on poor old Luke Oliver. I'm sure there was a Code Brown moment waiting to happen because we even thought that you both were going to end up in the wall and capitulating. So it could have been a lot worse than that. As I say, best placed of the championship contenders, and you can't ask for much more than that when championship is firmly in focus at this time of the championship.
Yeah, it is. And I guess, to be honest, I didn't need the result in the Porsche as much as I needed the result in the Vs. That was the thing.
Yeah.
And by halfway through, I was sort of, oh man, it's been a long week. I was pretty tired, and those guys were out in front, and I just went, well, I'm not catching them. So I just sort of wobbled around for the end of it. But yeah, was glad to get on the podium, and just bank a few points and bank one extra drop round before the end of the season in the Porsches. So not as good as what I would have hoped, but I just wasn't quite on my game by the time we got around to the Porsches tonight either.
I look at your drop rounds at the moment, and they're both identical. You've got two 93s up your sleeve. So I get, obviously, there's still, what have we got, in excess of 250 points still left up for grabs this season. So there's 50 that you've got, plus the two 93s. Help me out here, boys. 93, 186, plus 50, 236. Oh, geez, it's tight. If you were to not score another point, it's going to be going right down to the wire as to whether or not those boys could catch you.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, we'll see how they go in the next couple of rounds. It's with the current points system, it's pretty easy to score a truckload of points for a pretty rubbish position. So, I think that probably, it's a good lead, but with the 200 points in the final round up for grabs, it's still, it's still very much in play. I was doing a bit of maths there, and I still probably have to, at least drive in that final round, and whether or not, how much where I'll have to be, I think, is a little bit dependent on where they are, but I think I'll probably still have to drive in it, so we'll work out the portable rig, I reckon.
Logistically, have you worked out how to do that, by the way?
Not really. That's a tomorrow problem. I fly out on Saturday morning, so I'll whip some stuff together, do some work, try and untangle some wires and see what I can chuck in the backpack. Got the old laptop, so I haven't tested whether or not it actually runs this little VR setup that I've got or not, or whether it's just about 6 frames a second, which I suspect it is, because that old laptop is chugging pretty hard nowadays. We'll give it a crack. I did some Googling, and apparently the internet's not too bad in this island that I'll be at the time, so we might be able to make something work. And as well, I'm watching the footy at the moment. I'm going around the grounds as well, and that's a close game. Knowing how tonight's gone, I reckon Geelong will score one on the fucking buzzer. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, he's fine. See, this is the thing, Nearly. We haven't even got to Formula V, and he's just dropped an F-bomb. And I wasn't expecting that.
No, sorry, I wasn't either.
In relation to the football, but that's okay.
Apologies.
Oh, no.
Apologies. I know I've checked the watershed. We're all right, but
oh, geez. 11.975 plays 10.14.74 for those of you wondering what the hell Chapo's talking about. That's Adelaide leading by 1 on the Cats at the moment and in possession. And we'll update you on how that finishes very shortly. Righto. Chapo, so obviously we're talking about external factors, lack of prep time and a few other things determining the success of the night. But credit to your teammate, the way in which he drove and of course your old sparring partner Sam Muir arriving in the Porsche as though he never really left.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the irony is when it comes to prep time, it was actually horrific Adelaide traffic that really contributed to that tonight. I was just I was absolutely gridlocked. I've never had traffic like it except when, this bloody race is on. So I don't know what was happening tonight.
What was it, Chapo? 3 minutes in traffic?
Oh no! It was more than that. It was more than that. I was stuck. Of course, I'm indicating, trying to get in lane. Buses look at me and go, "Absolutely not, mate. You're not getting your Honda Jazz in here." So, it's a real disaster. But no, anyway, those two. I mean, they're class as Eli.
He's got me going now, Neely. Stand by.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. We're going to hear about the Hughes Highway. Those two. I mean, they're great competitors. We've watched how Eli's, particularly over the last year, just become absolutely rapid in just about everything. I watched him on Monday even with the NASCAR that he's relatively new at, and he was doing brilliant things. So no, he absolutely put it to Muir, who's no slouch in these. And I would have liked to fight with Muir a bit more. We did last week at the Pro Series. We were neck and neck, somewhere in the 20s, until I obviously decided to score myself a slowdown or something like that. It was some sort of brilliant move on my behalf, I'm sure. But I mean, those guys, at least someone was putting on a race tonight, because I certainly wasn't.
Adelaide win. There you go, Chapo. Silver lining at the end of the night. 11-9, 75, 10-14, 74. They held on by the skin of their teeth. They held on with it going right down to the final play. A mark for Geelong would have set up a kick after the siren. It didn't happen. Now, no, I'm coming back to your point with regards to traffic, right? So you got me going now because, right? Okay, so here's one thing for you. Right, Chapo lives over in South Australia, where the population is compared to metropolitan Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane, 3/5 of FA, right? Okay. Now, we all know what I mean when I say FA. Chapo dropped the F word earlier. And the second word is all, which is, it's fair enough. I could actually probably use that on air, but that's okay. Listen, there's been 2 big crashes on the M1 in the last fortnight here on the border and on the Gold Coast area. The thing is 4 lanes wide, north and southbound, and they still find a way to cock it up. I have been saying for years, we've been talking about Queensland, being 112 years behind civilization, and it'll be a wonderful part of the world once it's finished being constructed and built, etc., etc. The roads are part of the problem. I have said, because I know Paul Toole is lobbying for New South Wales government to pull their finger out with regards to getting the Great Western Highway sorted so that the traffic from Sydney to the regional centres of the Central West can open back up and get back to normal, etc., etc. Well, then I want Toole to come up here and bang the doors down of the Queensland Parliament, right? He might have to leave his IQ at the door to go in there, but that's another story. But the reality of the matter is, I reckon the best thing that they could possibly do, and I don't care if they make it a toll road, $10 in, $10 out, north and south, $20 hit. I would do it. Build a big, giant bloody tunnel, 4 or 5 lanes wide, don't care, 100 k's an hour all the way through, that starts on the fringe of the Welcome to Gold Coast signs, both north and south, and ends on the other side, which means you would go into the tunnel instead of going onto the Gold Coast portion of the M1 highway and come out in progressive civilization during the summer months at Tweed Heads. Because every time you go through there, there's either a crash or gridlock. No one can do the speed limit, etc., etc. And people wonder why I choose to drive at 2 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock at night, somewhere out of the peak hours, which for the Gold Coast is anywhere between about 5 a.m. and 9 p.m, a 16-hour window in which you're always going to run into trouble on the Gold Coast highways. So, yes, feel free to come and sit in gridlock on the Gold Coast with those idiots anytime you like, Chapper. You would lose years of your life. Now that we've got that out of the road, the other interesting thing here is I want your thoughts on how this championship goes, because obviously we likely only see you one of the next 2 weeks with all those circumstances you've already mentioned in mind. Would it be? It'd surely have to be Sandown, considering that's where the most points are on the line. But how do you go about staying out of trouble? When you're in a different part of the world, net code, etc., etc. How do you go about just racing to secure the points, secure the title, without the onus being placed on having to get through the field? The onus being more so avoiding incidents, staying out of trouble, which you weren't able to do, unfortunately, in the V's tonight. And we'll get to that in a moment.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's it, really. It's, I can probably get through with relatively mediocre results at Sandown, so it will just be being careful, trying to, keep it on the road, ideally get a bit of a 0x and, just sort of limp at home. But, yeah, we'll just have to see, how we can get the setup running, whether or not it looks all right and that we can get to 75% race distance. But yeah, it would also depend, I guess, what the boys do next week. If they have good rounds or shockers as to, how much risk I'll have to take or whether I can sort of let the foot off the throttle a little bit.
If you were lining up for St. Pete next week, would you be optimistic that you'd be able to bring the form that you've carried through the entire season to the newest venue for the Porsche Cup?
Well, probably not. I've never done the track.
There you go.
But it's also it's not a Parliament sitting week, so maybe I'll be a bit better off. Those are the ones that really bring me down. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know the track, so it's hard to know. But being able to finish ahead of the champ rivals, most rounds. So I'll be hopeful, providing I got a little bit of prac in. But it's it'll be a non-issue.
Well, I was going to say, if it was a non-sitting week, yeah, it doesn't matter one way or the other. But I was going to say, based on what you were talking about with the laptop and all the other circumstances highlighted by you potentially having to log in on the other side of the world for this final round and use the remote setup, as we like to call it, the outside broadcast system, as I would refer to it. If it was me commentating from somewhere that isn't the normal office headquarters, I would advise that if you're going to fork out and buy St. Pete, just in case you need to log in, I would do that at home before you depart for the airport.
Yeah, well, probably. I'll probably log into the laptop and there's, 17 terabytes of updates to sort out. So, yeah, it would be worth having a look at if I get time tomorrow night.
Indeed. Righto. With a degree of trepidation, let's go and talk Formula V, because, as you say, things couldn't have gone much worse there. Just when it looked like you're in the mix for results and keeping the championship in your grasp and the lead in your possession, unfortunately, a far better night at the office for Braden Sagassa and John Merritt, and you're on the back foot there with 2 weeks to go. There was nothing wrong with the pace, just so many instances of wrong place, wrong time, mate.
Yeah, it was a night to forget, that's for sure. I mean, the forbidden N-word came up, not too forbidden, but netcode. But that played a significant role. I don't know what iRacing has been doing, coding that corner down the bottom there, thinking which direction cars are going to go, as though they're going to veer off track or something like that. That seems to be what they think's going to happen, given the netcode situation. So. Yeah, that was good. I mean, that first race, we were controlling most of the race, and then obviously got swamped a little bit, and then got caught out by a netcode incident at the bottom there, which pushed me back to 11th, just outside the.
Was that the one with Adam Lavis?
Probably, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So that was good. Went, okay, all right. So on to the next one.
Not for you or Mav, actually, but
no, it was brilliant. Yeah, no, it was 2 egregious net codes right in a row. It was brilliant. Second race was actually really difficult to get through the field round here when they were all sort of side by side and that. I was just playing it safe. Oh, yeah, there's an accident ahead. Better slow right down for it. And then someone's, I don't know, I think they lost their brake pedal. It must have been in another room or something, because they've spun around. They've come from about 16 postcodes away, reversing around the track directly into my line of 5 to taking it really easy. So that was some very poor driving, I'd have to say. I was pretty unimpressed by that. So that puts you right back in the sticks again. But start of the first race, okay, cool. Happy days. We've got a relatively aggressive car at the inside, and we were playing. That was all fair and love and war, and I got a bit wobbly. Just trying to make sure I didn't hit him, so it pushed me back further again. But fought back forward, to get into the lead, and another net code on the outside of Merritt put me around. So a truly rubbish experience. And while some of it is the cause of other drivers, the vast majority is actually the cause of the minds of iRacing and how they've been coding netcode. So thank you to those guys. Really appreciate it. And it's that time of the season.
Indeed. Okay. If you had to choose between coming and salvaging something out of that championship, would it be that you turn up and have a crack at Willow Springs, or would you wait for your home territory at the Bend?
Well, both are tracks that I like and I'm good at. It's just whether or not I can find any performance on a makeshift setup. So I'd ideally like to give both a crack, but I'm just not sure what the situation would be. If I'm going to do any race next week, it would be it'd be the V's, given where we're at in the season and how rubbish the drop rounds are comparably. I would happily do either. I feel like Willow will be easier on a dodgy setup just because it's, there's not super heavy braking zones. It's going to be much more of a just slipstream circuit and knowing where you are and that sort of thing, and probably a bit more lottery based, whereas the Bend you still need to find a little bit of pace, although you do still have some pretty decent straights and all that sort of thing to fight. So who knows, Zach?
Who knows indeed. Time will tell. We watch with interest to see how the next couple of weeks play out. And let's be honest, right? It's not as though you didn't have the pace at Barber either. I mean, you and John Merritt were locking horns in that first heat quite beautifully. So, very much a case of what might have been. But we know how this rodeo rumbles, right? And rock and rolls. So many times we talk about Formula V being a lottery, and again, that narrative read true again tonight, unfortunately for you.
Yes, it did. And I was not the winner tonight, so it is the case of Formula V, and I think that's all in clear. It's it is particularly disappointing when it's things entirely outside of your control, or it is actually just things where no one's actually done anything wrong. It's just the server thinking your car is in a place that it isn't. And that ruins things. So, it's a disappointing place to be, at this time of the season after what's been a pretty strong season otherwise. It is what it is. Hopefully, I'll still try for it and see what we can do. The double would have been a lovely achievement, have made a rod for my own back to some degree with my usual sort of travel plans at this time of the season.
Yeah, shooting yourself in the foot yet again, unfortunately. However, in saying that, we hope you enjoyed the holiday and the time off, and of course, hopefully, the internet gods and the iRacing gods will be in your favour when you do join us over the course of the next couple of weeks. I'm amazed, Andrew. We got through one S-bomb, one F-bomb, no C-bombs. We've no Emily C-bombs. We've done really, really well. I was fearful when he said get the dump button ready earlier in
doing my best. I'm doing my best.
You've done remarkably well.
Thank you, mate.
You'd be excited though, Chapo. Some new Formula V's coming to iRacing in the next content update.
Yeah, I saw rumours of that. Did you actually see what the changes were? I haven't had too much of a look at it. Is it like the more powerful ones?
They're bringing. I don't know if they're bringing the 1600s in, but they're bringing in different chassis, I think.
No, there is no difference to the car at all. It's just a change in body shape. Just to make it a little bit more interesting to watch.
No, what that is a cash grab.
No, free. It's free. It's
free
not
content.
Free content.
Right,
It'll come along. You own one, you own both.
Good. All right, I won't malign iRacing too much. I was hoping they'd be able to do a bit of a cash grab and spend it on the coding for netcode. But yeah, apparently not.
It's only been 15 years. We're still waiting.
Exactly. Are we surprised? The internet here in Australia, right, significantly improved over the course of the last few years. We still have that third world country, fourth world internet, issue creep in from time to time. But things like fibre to the premises and Starlink and etc. are really going about trying to overturn that narrative. But yes, coding will always be an issue because when you look at where the world is in internet quality and service, everybody's at a different point. There's no real streamline. Everybody's on the same page. Funny that, again, a bit like New South Wales and Queensland. One observes daylight saving and the other stuck in the 20th century. It's fantastic. So, yes, coding. We'll come back to that at a later point in time.
I think there's an update, update coming that should help with that. They've got now some automatic server allocation, so you don't just get
You're a little bit
server.
Morse code there, Nearly. I can't hear you.
iRacing provide your internet as well, does it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh dear. So what's coming? Did you say?
Oh, they're paid. Look at this. It is a cash grab. We've got Blair Sim Racing in the chat.
There we go. They are unfortunately, but there we go.
No.
Blair Sim Racing coming to the table. Look at that. Cash grab.
Oh, well, maybe the netcode will be over.
Yeah, I believe it when I say it.
Yeah. A bit like this new motorsport precinct they're proposing up here in Queensland. Right, we've been here before. We've had this discussion before. So many people have spoken about getting new venues up and running off the ground, etc. And I withhold all enthusiasm because I say to people, how many times it must be a yearly thing just to get the conversation going, just to get people fired up and on their soapbox. I'll believe it when I see it. When it
they only build new racetracks in good state, Zach. So
exactly correct.
Yeah, correct.
And I'll believe it when it's there and open for business and operational. I will not believe it until such time that is the case. Anything else to add from you, Chapo?
Oh, nah. I reckon we can log off. I'll go get some shadow.
There is one more thing. I actually thought, I must say, Eli verified that wasn't the case, but I actually thought that you might have called him in for reinforcement in the same way that Braden's got support from Lockie and obviously John's got support from Cito. I thought that might have been the reason why Eli was here. Sadly not. Have you got anyone in the Vermilion stable that you might be able to lead upon in the next couple of weeks if needed?
No, my teammates are useless. They won't bloody join me. So I was very excited tonight that I had a teammate join me in the Mighty Formula V's, the best racing Australia has to offer.
Correct.
I was that's all right. You do a few more laps, buddy. We'll get there. You'll learn to love them. You'll learn to love them, sir. Once they sort out.
Great, let's go.
Yes, no. I mean, I might see, because it would be good to have a few of those fast guys. You know, steal a few of the top positions and steal a few of the points. Particularly in the Porsches. But once again, I'll believe it when I see it.
How bloody nice is that, by the way? Right. And I do apologise, Nearly. I didn't realise that you'd sent me a message here earlier too, by the way. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. A little bit of breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around. There's a little bit of extra cherries on top of your dessert that was the Porsche Cup racing and the post-race show. I've just been given a little bit of a scoop, and John Burgess is in the house. If you'll get the hint, if you read between the lines. More on that in just a moment. John Burgess, the role of John Burgess will be being played by Andrew Neil tonight. Usually played by Joe Baldwin, but that's another story. Chapo, the interesting thing is I need to actually ask Eli Donaldson at this particular point in time because he's saying chuck him in the bin. How nice of your teammate there to just throw all of you under the bus at the same time when I asked about calling for reinforcement, Eli.
Hey, I showed up. I mean, somebody's got to show up.
Eli's all right. Eli's all right.
It's hard. We got so much stuff going on everywhere. A lot of the boys are doing Scops and doing V8 Pro and Porsche Pro, and we know what Chapo's like. Chapo will drive in any shitbox and drive it as fast as he can, so we appreciate him.
Well,
Honda
I
Jazz.
agree with him, though. I agree with him, though, right? I agree with him. The Formula V is the best thing in the sim racing world until such time as they get back out to Australia and scan the Hyundai Excel.
Well, I can tell you for free, if I need to pay for it, I ain't buying the thing. Okay,
fair enough. The Hyundai Excel, if that comes into iRacing, will just reignite the whole thing globally. Everyone would be wanting a piece of Australia's best kept secret. Mark my very words. Now, gentlemen, Chapo, anyone you'd like to thank rather than point the finger at, please?
Oh, no, I'd just like to thank Eli. He came out, he showed up, he gave me a bit of company. It was lovely, and then he drove really well in the Porsches. Now, that meant stealing points from me, it turns out. But no, it was good to have a teammate out there and to chat to when I wasn't too grumpy and just trying to lock in because I was tired and emotional. But no, thank you to Eli.
I was just about to say, Eli, it feels as though you've also played his emotional support person this evening.
He's my therapist.
Yeah, I'll get my paycheck next week.
Oh, very good. All right, before we go any further, before we get into any trouble, before we dig holes that we can't get out of here, you two. Great to see you. Great to have you in here for chat post race. Always, never dull, always entertaining. Eli, good luck with the NASCAR stuff. Chapo, enjoy the overseas travel. Go well. I look forward to hearing all about the updates from what might come of that latest excursion, and hopefully the world is on your side when you jump in with the remote setup, with the computer that's on its last legs, the laptop I should say, in the next couple of weeks. And if not, then obviously there's always next season. And you might have heard Grant Boyden earlier. He wants Formula V back next term. You know how I sit with it. So hopefully a chance to go around and race in the Vs again in term 3.
Absolutely. You got to listen to Grant Borden. So, thanks, fellas. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Zach. And, I'll see you on the other side.
Jeez, he's been in brilliant form tonight. Chapo, brilliant stuff. Thank you to him. Thank you to Eli. Thanks, boys. Well done.
Cheers.
Now, the reason why I said we've got a little bit of extra work to do, it's more housekeeping than anything else, ladies and gentlemen. But for the first time this season, you're about to see this happen live. Throughout the course of term 1, on a Friday night when we're sitting in here with Joe Baldwin, we had a bit of business to do with regards to MtnMen on a Saturday night. I get the memo only a few minutes ago from Neely here saying we have to do the wheel spin on Thursday Night Motorsport for the first time this term to determine the car choice for MtnMen on Saturday night. What brought about this change, please?
Well, I just kept on seeing Adam having to do a stream on a Friday night, so I thought I'd just chuck it out there that we could do it on the
just
Thursday
for the wheel
night.
spin.
Yeah. Just get his Friday night commitment for the wheel spin and get it sorted out on the Thursday.
All right. In that case, then,
Zach,
what have we got on the wheel
there,
this week, please? Yeah.
Before we go there, you've completely forgotten about the open split.
I haven't. In fact, I was actually hoping that I haven't. I've got it here in front of me. I was actually hoping that Adam Lavis was going to crunch the Formula V numbers, and he has. So while he finishes doing that, we'll spin the wheel, and then we'll go and do some housekeeping with regards to championship points. Let's go and have a what have we got on the wheel? Firstly, John Burgess.
Right, we have the Pro Mazdas.
Oh,
we got the GT1s. We
Nice.
have the Formula Fords,
Okay.
the MX-5s, and the Legacy GT3s.
Ooh, okay. Some really good, solid car choices there. Formula Ford, I don't mind. Obviously, plenty of Mazdas, both open wheel and tin top variety there for you. And GT1 and GT3, which you've all seen in broadcast on these platforms in the years gone by. Rightio. We'll need to frame that up a little bit better. Here we go. GSRC MtnMen car of choice will be determined by this spin of the wheel. When you're ready, please.
Let's at least get it centre. Here we go.
Live broadcasting. Got to love it, ladies and gentlemen, don't you? All right. Where are we settling? Where are we settling? Where are we settling? Pro-Mazda. There you go. Open wheelers on a Saturday night for 32 laps around Mount Panorama Bathurst. If you want to get amongst that, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturday night. Thanks for coming. Now, important to note, let's go to the Porsche Open Split firstly, with regards to the housekeeping. So the way this is going to play out, ladies and gentlemen, is I'll do the Open Split, then we'll do Formula V, then we'll thank some sponsors, then we'll plug the merch store, then we'll do the look ahead, then we'll wrap up and get out of here. And we'll probably get it done before 11 o'clock for a change. The Open Split, there it is. That's how it sits at the end of this 8th round. Mav holds on to his slender advantage at the top of the order, 21 points, and does so over Sean Benici and Paul Wilson well back. What's that? 86 points covers Lavis and Wilson at the moment. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility for Paul, but a lot would have to go wrong for Mav if he's to lose the championship to Wilson. Not so much Benici, because Benici's a hop, skip and a jump away. I just want to acknowledge that the round winner tonight was all the way down in position number 25 in the points table. So well done to Michael Blades there, who got the W with a 0x, 111 points. He just wiped the floor with everybody and cleaned us out, took everything on offer. Fastest lap, no incident points, pole position, 111. 103 for Sean Benici, 97 for Adam Lavis. Benici second, Lavis third. Fourth place on track throughout the course of the night there with 93 points was Alan McDonald, who moved up to 452 in the points race as well. Sorry, no. Edward Rollo, I think. My apologies. Edward Rollo, yeah. Sorry. I'm trying to line up the left side of the screen and the right side of the screen, and it's not working for me. So, Edward Rollo, and he moved up 4 spots into position number 11. Beaumont, McDonald in a tie for 9th. McLaren in 8th at the moment, but look at them, only separated by 2 points, and only another 7 up the road from McLaren to Wegner. So that's all nice and tight at the moment. 19 points covers 7th. And 11th on the points table. And even then, Paul Wilson's only got 33 on Eduardo Zamora. Joel Hansen has 2 on David Baz, who was only 16 clear of Wegner in that next pack that I just mentioned. Importantly, Hansen, Baz, Wegner not on the grid tonight. 5th place tonight on track went to Paul Wilson. So that's how all that plays out. Now, shall we give Chapo the bad news? In fact, I think he's already got it, because I think he's already messaged me, to be fair. Equal for the lead in the V's, RIP was the word from Chapo. And we'll have a look at that now to confirm for everybody what Chapo is saying. In fact, we can't just yet. Because Adam Lavis is still crunching the numbers there. So let me come back to that in a moment. Let me go around the grounds. Adelaide 75 got the better of Geelong 74 in the AFL tonight. Manly too good for South Sydney in the NRL, and of course that was to the tune of 28 points to 14. In the cricket, they're still off the ground. The match delayed by a wet outfield at Lords at the moment, day 1 of the test series between England and New Zealand. England being sent into bat are 1 for 24 through 10 overs. Australia 2 for 46 through 12 overs against Pakistan. So real slow, steady, easy going. It's a bit of a tough struggle and slog there for you at the moment. 2 for 46 through 12 overs. So Marnus Labuschagne went for 19. Alex Carey out there yet to face a ball. And Josh Inglis 26 off 31. Actually going along quite nicely, but he just needs somebody else to go with him. Iranian Vavasori, the Italians, too good for Dabrowski and King in the mixed doubles final at Roland Garros, 4-6, 6-3, 10-4. And, of course, the women's semi-finals still to come on this 12th day of play in the French Open of 2026. You will see the women's semi-finals live and free on 9Gem from the top of the hour. 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 10:30 in Central Australia, and 9 p.m. in WA. And, of course, that will be Koscheck first up against Mira Andreeva, and then Schneider up against Chawalinska. Second up in the semi-finals, and they'll be back-to-back one after the other. There'll be no real delay in between. And then, of course, tomorrow the men's semi-finals kick in from 10:30 p.m. and then the second semi-final from 3 a.m. on Saturday morning. Menzek versus Zverev in the first match, and Arnaldi up against Caboli in the second, the all-Italian semi-final on Saturday morning. You'll see both of those on 9Gem as well. Coming up this weekend, beyond that, and I can say this now because we're not on air tomorrow night, so let's just remind everybody of what's going on. Stanley Cup finals tomorrow morning, NBA finals Saturday morning. Still some race control decisions pending with the Vs, so we can bring them to you now. We'll do that in just a moment. Thank you, Adam Lavis, for the heads up with regards to all of that. The Isle of Man TT continues if you want to catch up with the daily highlights on Fox Sports as well. What a spectacle that is each and every year, but also not without fatalities, unfortunately. Super Rugby finals this weekend. The ACT Brumbies in action tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock over against the Hurricanes. The Reds in action on Saturday afternoon as well. And it's good to see that they'll be playing the Chiefs at 4:30 p.m. on Stan Sport, kickoff at 5 o'clock. Suncorp Super Netball, Super W, French Open finals, men's doubles, women's doubles, men's and women's singles. And there's still penalties to be applied from last week. So there's a bit of housekeeping just to be done in the Formula Vs, just on that note. Live Golf from Spain, the NRL, the AFL, all continuing. Motorsport fans, a feast for you this weekend. The Monaco Formula One Grand Prix, the Hungarian round of MotoGP, and of course on Monday, NASCAR from 4 a.m. from Michigan, from 11 a.m. on the public holiday Monday. How good's this for progressive and civilised parts of the country? It's all right, Western Australia and Queensland. You'll get there one day. You can sit back and watch IndyCar at 11 a.m. on Monday morning from Gateway, Illinois. Then on to the big freeze from the MCG with Collingwood and Melbourne. And, of course, the Australian Swimming Championships get underway on Monday as well. Holy cow, there's a lot going on this weekend. And, of course, the World Cup soccer commences next weekend. So a smorgasbord of sport. A pleasure to be a small part in all of that. We can now bring you the V points with thanks to Adam Lavis. Oh, boy. Oh. Merritt and Sagasa have swooped on Chapo. 8 points now covers the top three. It was 24 going into the night. 8.29 plays, 8.28 plays, 8.21. 1 point Sagasa on Chapman at the moment. Merritt there in third. Purvis has gone to fourth on Adam Lavis. We knew that was a potential possibility, and it has happened. And Derek Fitzgerald holds on to sixth, 7 points clear of Ryan Tate. Michael Adams in eighth. Jordan Pianazzola, Brendan Nealon. For all that change in the top five, one up, one down, Braden Sagasa, Sam Chapman, one up, one down, Purvis and Lavis. No change in any other position in the top 10. Quite extraordinary. Round honours to Purvis, 144, 143 to Merritt, and 135 to Sagasa. Good fight back from Braden in the end. Merritt, Cito, and Purvis, your three race winners tonight in Disruptive Labs Formula V. Oh, my goodness gracious me. Nearly final thoughts on all of that as I eye off another Strepsil.
What a race. Bit of bouncing. Good field strategy. Absolutely marvellous. Always good.
Indeed it is. Great to have your company as always tonight, my friend. Reminder to our Queensland audience, they are celebrating this thing called Queensland Day on the weekend, but you don't get a public holiday for it, so I don't get the point. But they're making a big song and dance about it. Again, I go back to what I was saying earlier. It'd be nice if they had the King's birthday in line with the rest of the country, and considering that it is a Commonwealth related holiday. It'd be nice if it was in unison across the board, but obviously WA and Queensland just go about doing their own thing, and that aforementioned state of Queensland, the ongoing construction zone of the country and the lead up to the 2032 Olympics. Geez, it'll be nice when it's actually finished being built, won't it? We're here with thanks to the great people at Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics. We cannot do it without them. We must thank them as per usual for their vitally important, integral, ongoing support of the platforms of the GSRC across Facebook and YouTube. They've been supporters of ours. They've been involved with us for the longest period of time, and really it's them, it's the members, it's the audience that keeps this thing rocking and rolling. Couldn't do it without any of the above. Merch.tgsrci.com is where you go for all your GSRC merch and paraphernalia. Merch.tgsrci.com or gsrcmerch.myshopify.com. Doesn't matter. Takes you to the same website page. And if you want to get involved in what we do, just like Grant Boyden did, he signed up and got out there and had a crack tonight and did well too. It was good to see. Race.tgsrci.com is where you go for all the information relevant to the club, the who, what, when, where, why and how, all the series regs, all the series calendars, the points, everything available on that website. The boys do a magnificent job in keeping that up to date. The screen's frozen for some reason. Is that your end or mine, Nearly? Does that mean we're on air or not? Oh, good. Okay, because I was going to say when it gives up, usually that's not a good sign. Let's have a look at what's coming your way on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Oh, there we go. Hasn't frozen as badly as we thought. Gentlemen's Endurance Championship tomorrow night. The precursor to next week's 24 Hours of Le Mans will be 200 kilometres of Le Mans, a 75-minute sprint around there for the Gentlemen's Endurance Championship tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Good luck to all and sundry. Now, we confirmed earlier that it's the Mazda Open Wheeler that is the car of choice for Saturday night's MtnMen from Mount Panorama Bathurst, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Saturday night. Good luck to all and sundry there. 32 kilometres, 200 laps. It's ritual, it's tradition here on the platforms of the GSRC. Our penultimate week of Term 2. Christ, I can't believe I'm saying that already. On the back end of the long weekend public holiday Monday, and I'm observing, I identify as a New South Welshman in this particular instance, so I'm having Monday off. Queensland can get stuffed. So at the end of the long weekend holiday, it'll be Long Beach, California for the Waste Options Formula 3 Championships penultimate round. 2 races to go in that series. Match point, Aidan Carl. He only has to win it or place second or third on Monday night, and he's home and hosed. They're not catching him by a long shot. Then we move on to our final look at the M and Prime splits in Waste Options GT3 for this season with the final sprint round from the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Join us from 8:25 Eastern Standard Time for that, racing from 8:30. AM split first up, then a quick intermission, Pro-Am second up, and we look forward to your company then. Tuesday night, here we go. GT1 in focus for the committee's choice, GSRC committee's choice action. The Tuesday night hit out, and the HPD as well, and the Honda. Yeah. So multi-class racing hits Tuesday night Motorsport next week. Daytona road course for committee's choice action. A 40-minute race. The server itself opens at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday night, we go to, well, there's been something about street racing this season on a Wednesday night. This is, I think, the 4th street circuit stop for us. So this time we're off to the streets of Belle Isle, Detroit, Michigan, the old home of the IndyCar Grand Prix of Detroit, and a full night, 5-race program for you, full night of sprint racing across the Toyota GR86 Challenge and also the Trophy AI Supercar Series. We're with you from 7:25 Eastern Standard Time for that. The Super Sprint for the Supercars from 8:45. So, of course, a later finish looming next Wednesday night. And then, of course, we're back with you Thursday night for all the action from Disruptive Labs Formula V first up from Willow Springs International Raceway. 3 sprint races there, races 25, 26, 27 of the season, 7:25 Eastern Standard Time. Then onto the Porsche Cup, again from the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida. So we've got a fair dose of sprint racing coming up next week. Long Beach, Detroit, and St. Pete, all in broadcast. How good's that going to be? St. Petersburg will bring you the open split race first, the elite split race second. So that'll be how we divvy up that sprint round of action for you in the GSRC Porsche Cup. 8:45 Eastern for race 1, the open split, and then, of course, the feature from the elite split to follow that. So looking forward to that and so much more here across Facebook and YouTube Live, exclusive and free. And again, if you didn't enjoy it tonight, well, aren't you difficult to please? Fair income, that was solid. Really good top shelf entertainment of the best variety from not just Eli Donaldson and Sam Muir, but all the Formula V brigade before that. We've enjoyed it. I stress that I hope you have as well. Thanks for coming along for the ride with us throughout the first week of June, the first week of winter, the 8th week of term 2 across Facebook and YouTube on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Our historic 25th season. We can't wait to wrap this season up over the course of the next 2 weeks and then have a 2-week break. And before you know it, turn around once, blink twice. And, of course, the third term will be on our doorstep. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great weekend, everybody, however you may be spending it, whether it's a long weekend or not. It's a bit of a sore point, of course, up here in Queensland. But, yes, it is a long weekend, and we're looking forward to it immensely. And the best way to tell that it's a long weekend is that there's NRL and AFL scheduled on a Monday afternoon. You don't get that if it's not a long weekend. So enjoy that. Support the big freeze at the G for Freeze MND. And, of course, that'll be so more special this year, given the most recent passing, sadly, inevitably, of Neil Danaher. So dig deep if you can and give to a great cause. On behalf of the crew here, enjoy the French Open. That's underway in about 6 minutes' time on the 9 Network on 9 Enjoy the cricket, Australia and Pakistan, England and New Zealand, if they can get back on it, Lords. Good night to be a couch potato if you're a fan of all things sport. On behalf of the crew here, Andrew Neil, Matt Schmidtke, our team, I'm Zach Caban. Have a great weekend, everybody. We look forward to your company Monday night for Waste Options, Monday Night Motorsport, Formula 3 and GT3. Until then, bye for now.